you for getting me all set up.
Yep, should be good.
Okay. Tim's got me set up for we're recording, everybody. Be careful what you say. Okay. So are we ready? Ready to go? All right.
We are.
They'll come over when they're ready. I know the students, bless their hearts, are making some little energy balls to go along with our treat theme today, and they're not all done. So they've been working hard. They'll bring them over when they're ready. And a couple other treats we have are hummus with carrot sticks and celery sticks, kind of a normal healthy treat. And then we have apples with pumpkin butter. So the pumpkin butter I actually got at Trader Joe's. It is not low sugar. I often make my own, but I grabbed the stuff at Trader Joe's. And then of course, while I was there, I found the pumpkin hummus, which I had tried. It was the lowest fat hummus they had, and it's got pumpkin and sugar in it. And I'm telling you, it is good.
Oh, that's fun.
So I liked all of them. I love pumpkin season. And so hence what we're talking about today, tricks and treats. So I'm going to spend a lot of our time talking about how we're tricked by various things, and then talk about treats. That sound all right? Everybody ready to go? How do you like the little apple pie balls?
Oh, wonderful.
You know, I love those. Those are meant to be kind of a clone of the Lara Bar apple pie bars.
I know the hummus, but what's the other?
Apple butter. Pumpkin butter, of course. Yeah, pumpkin butter, and you dip apples in it. And if you ever need a quick appetizer or something when people are coming over or you're going somewhere, you just go to Trader Joe's and you grab their already sliced up apples and you grab a jar of the pumpkin butter and you're set. Okay. So I was just thinking, I keep coming up with things too, as we've been doing this, I've come up with more and more ideas about when are we tricked by food in our food choices. I have the little picture of the juice here, only because, I mean, those are all fine juices and everything, but sometimes we're tricked because we think juice is a really healthy choice. And juice, really, you lose the fiber of the food that it's made from. So it's not always our best. It's better to eat the strawberries, the oranges, bananas, and the blueberries, etc. But are you ever tricked by portion sizes? Are you ever tricked by what it says on the labels? Are you ever tricked by what the media say, what the ads say? John saying, no, you never are. I've even fallen for stuff before. So yeah, what about environmental cues? Things that make you eat when you're really not hungry. You know, you're watching TV at night, so many food commercials, if you still watch commercials, which we still do. And everyone is on food. Or what about your mood? Does your mood trick you into thinking you're hungry when really you're not? You know, kind of down. So we want a little treat to perk us up. What about eating mindlessly? So I brought some little baked pita chips. So if we eat those out of the bag, might we accidentally eat way too many? That would be mindless eating. And what about other people, family, friends? Do they trick us into eating things? Maybe we don't want to eat. Maybe we don't want to eat quite that much, or we don't want to eat that food. And what about head games? I think that's our head games. That's us tricking ourselves. I deserve that because I've been working so hard. So we're just going to kind of talk about different tricks today. So thinking of why we should eat. What would you say? How do you know it's time to eat? What do you eat? What's the one thing?
Feel hungry.
That should be the one reason why we eat. But in reality, we get tricked. And what are the things that sometimes make us eat? Time, yes.
No.
The smells, you're right. What about when you see something? Like you might have come here not even being hungry, and then you see all this food, then you smell it. That could be a cue to trigger us. But really, what?
Habits.
Habits.
I had a bad habit. Every time I was on break, it was snack time. And even though I wasn't hungry, I was on work when I worked, not now.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, just to get something to eat.
Exactly. So Paul says, snack time, when he's at work, even if he's not hungry, if it's snack time, you're supposed to have a snack. And that is so true. I probably have told you all this story a million times, but I used to always eat breakfast in my car on the way to work when I used to commute. And then every time I was in my car, even though it was later in the day, I would think, oh, I got to get something to eat because that's what I do in my car. So it's kind of a habit. So the only reason that we should be eating, for the most part, is because we're hungry. That should be our trigger. But then we tend to go for environmental cues sometimes. Like you see chips in the cupboard, what do you want to do? You want to have some. Or you go to the movies, what do you want to have?
Popcorn.
Yeah. You're at a social event and it's a wine event. What are we going to do?
Drink wine.
We're going to drink wine and have the stuff they serve. So these are just a list of some things that might be cues for us, like seeing the chips in the cupboard, or going to the movies or snacking after dinner. A lot of times my husband will make his popcorn while we're making dinner to prepare for later. And so I wonder, how do you know you're going to be hungry? And are you hungry after we just ate dinner? So many people tell me, nighttime snacking is a real problem. But we should have eaten dinner. Are you raising your hand or are you just fixing your shirt?
No, I was fixing my shirt, but I was thinking Halloween candy. I bought some
Halloween candy.
Reese's peanut butter cups to give out.
Uh-huh.
And I've already gone through that.
Oh, we're talking about how Halloween candy can be a trigger. You're right. The way around that is you don't buy that candy until the day of. And you don't buy Reese's peanut butter cups. You get nerds and all.
I would not have a problem with that.
Really? So that's so good. Yeah. I think everybody's different on what cues you. What about game night or going to bunco? Does anybody here play bunco or bridge or any of those things? I feel like bunco is just an excuse to eat snacks. I'm not sure. I've never actually been, but that's what I hear.
Can most diabetics eat?
Oh, drinking wine. Okay. No, I think that's book club. That's wine.
Can most diabetics eat popcorn?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rose is asking if people with diabetes can eat popcorn.
I can't eat it. It raises my blood sugar.
Oh, yeah. It's a good whole grain. So popcorn is generally an okay choice, but if
Yeah.
it raises your blood sugar, then that might not be a good one for
Mm.
you. What about finger foods? That's what always gets me. Things that are actually things like we serve today, things that are easy to just grab. So even though you're not hungry, you just keep grabbing them. What about dessert after dinner? Were you raised with dessert after dinner?
No.
Yeah.
I think someone ruined the world by saying you shouldn't have dessert and you just keep eating and eating. I think dessert is a trigger that the meal is over.
Oh, so you like the idea of dessert
I love dessert.
because then that's a signal dinner's over.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, and whatever works for you is fine. But sometimes we eat dessert and we're really not hungry. So why are we eating it? That goes back to our habit or tradition or how we were raised.
It's so good.
Uh-huh. I know. Sometimes it's just so good you want to have it.
Warm apple pie.
Oh my gosh. She's starting to trigger us. Warm apple pie.
Yeah.
Okay. What about just being bored? Do you ever eat just because you're bored?
Mhm.
Got nothing better to do. Let's go see what's in the cupboard. Long ago? I'm afraid I do that now and then. Or what about the TV? A lot of people are triggered by the TV, the things that are on the TV. Even if you don't watch commercials, every show has people eating, drinking, making merry. What about buffets? Buffets can be a trap. You're right. Or even potlucks. And I can tell you from back when Linda and I worked together over at the Med Center, we had potlucks once, twice, sometimes 3 times in 1 week. And so you had to really make a plan of how you're going to handle these potlucks or these buffet lines. So what can you do when you have these cues? If you've got any of these, or anybody have any others that maybe I didn't mention? Food cues? Yes.
I volunteer at the Cancer Research Thrift Store. And our table is always filled with things that ladies bring in, their cookies or something. new.
Oh,
I think 15 pounds.
so she's saying snacks that people or goodies that people bring in where you work or where you volunteer. That's a very good one.
Break and-
Yeah. And a lot of times I think if you volunteer, they want to thank you for volunteering by giving you food. It's not always the best food. So what can we do if we have some of these things in our lives? Because these are tricks. And remember, our theme today is tricks and treats. So these are tricks that get us to eat treats. So we could stay away from the queue. So we could not turn on the TV. We could not go to a buffet. We could skip bunko. I mean, we don't want to take away our social life. You could find a replacement. So like at night when you turn on the TV, and that's when you typically want to have a little snack, then, and you find that you really are hungry, then you have a healthy thing that you're going to have. I mean, really all of our snacks today were pretty healthy snacks. You could get rid of the trigger food. So let's say it's those chips in the cupboard. You could just never bring chips home. Never bring them. Or if you do, keep them hidden. Or you could respond differently to the cue. So like go to the movie. I mean, imagine you go to the movie and it triggers you to want carrot sticks, not popcorn. Anybody in? Okay, you have to bring your own. Is the smell. It is the smell. So we got to think of how, or you might say, you know, I'm going to go to the movies. I really look forward to that popcorn and I'm going to have it. So I'm going to kind of work it into my day. That's cool too. You decide how you want to handle the cues, but don't be tricked by them because then those cues are handling you. You're not handling the cues. So here I got a few little tricks that you might be familiar with. I've done these before, so some of you might know these. So when people were eating soup out of a bowl that was rigged to be filled from the bottom, so slowly that they didn't know it was being refilled, how much more soup did they eat? A, B, or C? C? I don't even know the answer. Yep, it was C. It's just like if you eat out of a bag or out of the box, you have no signal that it's time to stop. And there was that one study where the people were in the bar restaurant and they were serving wings and beer, and half of the bar, the servers didn't pick up anything from the tables. The other side they did. So the people on the side that they did pick up the empty beer bottles and the little wing, bodies or whatever they are, those people ate less than those people ate more than the people on the side that had beer bottles and wing carcasses all on their table, because those people had a signal of how much they'd eaten. So I think the signal, and for you, Rose, like you said, the dessert's the signal, dinner's over.
I was gonna ask, the little balls that you have either
Mhm.
here or the ones we had the recipe for that were made with nuts and dates and chocolate chips and
Yes.
those things are about 62 calories for about an inch square.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bought a Dove little chocolate,
Yes.
those are about 40. So would these be more filling, or how would you justify these over the others?
Okay, so Rose asking, we had some like little energy balls today that were made from dried apples and dates and yummy things. And she likes to have like a Dove chocolate square, which is about 20 calories less than one of these balls. So which would be better? Well, I would say whichever you really love is better. But when you go for the balls we made today, they at least have nutrients and healthful stuff in them and high in fiber. So I would think they would fill you up better than the Dove chocolate.
Okay.
I would think.
So you would think you would eat fewer of them.
Well, I think it's easy to eat too many of those darn balls too. So when I make those balls, I put them in the freezer and I pull one out, and that's my thing. So you have to set it what works for you.
Yeah.
See, I think the trouble with some of these cues is it doesn't necessarily, even though they might make you full, we override the fullness cue and we don't pay attention to it. So we kind of get tricked because they're so darn yummy. So whichever you like is fine. But I do feel like the balls have some nutrients in them compared to the Dove chocolate,
Yeah.
but it's not chocolate. Okay, when two glasses had the same capacity, so these are two, let's say 8-ounce glasses, into which glass did people pour the most liquid? The short, fat one or the tall, narrow one? They poured more into the short, fat one. Tall, skinny ones look like there's more. It's just a visual cue. It's a visual trick. So what about you have had the same size of plate or bowl influence people's perceptions of how much they ate when they were offered the same portion size? So let's say our portion sizes, we have like a half cup of rice and a half cup of beans and a cup of greens, and they're on a plate. So depending on the size of that plate, did it make no difference what they thought they were eating? Did they think they were eating more on the large plate, or did they think they were eating more when it was served on the small plate?
See, yeah.
I'm thinking C too. That's why we use small plates. They're perfect size plates here. Yeah, because our smaller portion sizes look huge. You look at that and you think, oh, I'm going to be full. But if it's on the big China set that we have from grandma, that's going to make us, well, actually, those are probably small from grandma. So let's say, because they were a lot smaller way back then. But, you know, if we have one of those big plates, things are swimming on it. You think, oh, I'm going to starve. So that's why we have small plates here. Yes.
One time when I was still working, we had a fundraiser, and someone who was like in charge said, when you, I don't know what the size of plates were, but he said, when you hand out the people with a plate, already have food on it, so then people will, I forgot what his theory was, but they would feel that they started out with something instead of an empty plate. So I don't know if that is true or not.
Oh, I don't know. So Paul's saying someone told him if you were serving food and your plate already had a little something on it, and then they filled up, they would eat less.
That was what he said. I don't know if it's
Well,
true or not, but
I don't know. That would be something to look into.
when you had an empty plate, you just go ahead and.
You'd be just filling it up. I don't know. Okay, here's some chocolates. How did the number of chocolates people ate from covered desktop candy dish compare when the dish was clear versus when the dishes were white? So you couldn't see through it. Same on either side, 8 more from the white, 8 more from the clear. I'm thinking the answer, well, C. So which did they eat more from, or how many chocolates? So C at 71% more from the clear dish, because you can see it. Again, it's just a trigger. It's a trick. It's a mind game. So if we're going to have, like, who here has a bowl of candy in their house? Bowl of candy in your house? Like from when people come over?
I have minutes, a China closet.
In the China closet. Okay, so they're not visible.
Yeah, they are visible.
Because you can look through.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in a bowl in a China closet, but I limit myself to 4 of those. Serving is 4 pieces,
Okay.
and they're about 40 calories each. You know, so I do.
Candy, 40 calories each.
No, it's just it's chocolate. I bet. Is it your Dove chocolates?
Yeah,
Yes, they're Dove chocolates.
Okay.
So you can see them, but you're good at limiting them.
yeah.
Personally, me, I wouldn't be. I can't see them. What do you have in your candy?
I have Kisses, and I have it in my living room
Uh-huh.
on my table.
Okay.
I have Kisses. I change it with the seafood.
Well, do you eat them?
Yeah.
No,
No. So,
very, very rare.
okay.
do I eat them. I've done without sugar so long that I kind of don't have much of a taste for it anymore. And
Okay.
everything is super sweet to me when I do.
Okay.
I hate that because I used to love ice cream.
Right.
And I'm kind of disappointed because it's too sweet.
Oh, so we have some people in here who don't really care for sweets all that much anymore.
That's a
And
great thing.
and they're very, I know, and they're very disciplined. That wouldn't be true at my house. So we don't have candy jars at our
My
house.
husband, you know, he has a donut or two every morning.
Uh-huh.
That's his lifestyle.
Well, when you get used to that, if that works for you, but wasabi peas, aha. So, okay,
No dyes, no sugars.
that's good.
stop. That's also what we give out for trick or treat, so the kids don't come back.
I
Okay,
had donuts for years at a
But it's-
time.
no donuts, okay.
That's what makes us feel better.
I
Uh,
eat them, but.
Okay, we're discussing all the differences here. So John has wasabi peas in his candy dish at home, and that's also what he gives out for Halloween. And the kids don't come back. Okay, so where you're at work and somebody in the office has to have that candy dish. So he or she puts them in a clear lidded candy dish. If they're right here on the corner of the desk, who ate the most? At the corner of the desk, top of the left-hand desk drawer, on a file cabinet way over there, or they ate the same in all three locations?
Yes.
I would say, at which location did they eat the most? Okay, so they, oh, I think I have a little typo though. 9 candies versus 6 candies in the drawer versus 4 candies across the room. So even in the drawer, that's a good thought because it's hidden a little bit. But,
Well, A is the answer.
oh, A is the answer. I see. At the corner of the desk is where they ate the most. Thank you. So of course, because it's just right there. But when you put it in the drawer, you eat less. And when you
Yeah.
have to actually get up and go get it, you eat even less.
And it depends if they're jelly beans.
Well, it does depend on the candy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also, so we get tricked by things that are sitting out that we see, by cues. We also get tricked by portion sizes because we think, oh, this is probably pretty good. So this was, and this is probably, I've been doing the same slide for about 20 years. So it's probably 40 years ago. A bagel was about 3 inches.
But you know, they used to be hard.
They were hard, old
they-
New
and-
York bagel.
Yeah, and you didn't really, I never really liked bagels.
Yeah. Yeah, they did used to be harder. Well, it depends on what kind you get. But today they're at least 6 inches in diameter. I'm talking about the kind you get if you go to like Noah's or in the bins at Safeway. What do you think the calorie difference is there?
Well, they're 300
Yeah.
calories now, aren't they?
210 more calories in the big one.
Yeah.
So a big bagel is like 4 pieces of bread, calorie and carb wise. So let's say you're eating that and you want to work that off. How are you going to work that off? Oops, you got to rake for 50 minutes to work that off. Okay, what about nowadays? We don't just drink coffee. We go to Starbucks and we get the 16 ounce. That's not even the biggest. That's a grande, I think, at Starbucks. And if we get it with whole milk and mocha syrup or chocolate syrup, and what's the calorie difference? And they even put whole milk and sugar in the original coffee. Calorie difference? 150? 305.
I don't drink those.
I mean, that's a lot because there's just a lot of milk. There's really no more coffee in the one on the right. What they did in the one on the right is they added all this whole milk and more pumps of mocha. So, and then we'd have to walk for an hour and 20 minutes to burn that 305 calories off. That's a lot of walking. Okay, what about muffins? You know, we go to Costco and we get those muffins, the Otis Spunkmeyer muffins. So original muffin is like what our muffin tins hold. And that's the single size. This one is like 4 times that. Difference in calories? 400? I can't remember. Almost 300, because now you've got, bless you, more butter, more eggs, more flour, more whatever, you know, the fats were. So now you got to vacuum for an hour and a half for that one.
You know,
Or not, or just not have that one.
Or wear it around your waist.
So sometimes we get tricked by portion sizes. We get tricked by things that they add to foods. So bless you. So to avoid this mindless eating idea, you want to set up your world to support your healthy behaviors. So maybe if you have the candy jar, you keep it hidden or covered or far away. You don't bring the chips into the house. Keep high fat, high calorie foods out of the house and out of work if you have anything to say about it. At the very least, we keep it out of sight. Bless you, everybody's sneezing.
Potato chips are something I crave now and then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so it's awful if you don't have them in the house.
I know, that's really good. So Rose is saying sometimes you get a craving for the potato chip and you
For the
want to have
stuff
them in the
with salt,
house.
Probably.
I think maybe that's what, when we crave something, we should think what's triggering this, because something triggered
So
a
your
craving.
body must need that salt.
I think your body would be wanting you to have broccoli if it was cueing you. So not only do you not bring the junk in or keep it hidden, you keep good stuff visible. So you cut up the apples and the carrot sticks and the celery sticks and the cherry tomatoes or whatever you like that you can just reach in and grab. You have the fruit all cut up and ready to go. When you bring the strawberries home from the stand, you wash them and have them ready. So then you're more likely to eat it. So we don't want to be tricked by these cues, but also try limiting your eating to just one place, because if you eat in the kitchen and you eat at the dining room table and you eat in front of the TV and you eat at the computer and you eat in the bedroom, now all those places are going to trigger you. So we just narrow down our triggers if we just eat in one place. And that's your rule, is, you just eat in one place. And you could also limit other activities when you eat, which is easier said than done in some cases, I know, because some of us like to watch TV or the news while we're eating, but sometimes, or like, you go to the movie and the popcorn's gone and they haven't even started the movie yet, and you don't even know where it went because we're just mindlessly eating. So trying to just only do one thing at a time if you can. So those were our tricks. Now let's go to our treats. What's your idea of treats? What? Sugar. I'm more of a sweet. Some people are more salty. Some people love the salty. I'm a sweet lover too. Sour. People like those sour worms and things. Umami is kind of that new flavor that's like kind of meaty, and I don't know, what's the word for it?
Umami?
Yeah, umami.
It's its own flavor.
It's its own flavor, but
What is it?
savory. It's savory.
But what is umami?
It's what you get with mushrooms.
Yeah, it's the name of this new
Hey,
taste.
I was gonna ask you, do you freeze that mushroom soup?
I don't know. It's always, yeah.
We're not sure if we can freeze that mushroom soup because John just always eats it. Okay, what about, Paul, are you raising your hand? You're just fixing your shirt. You're fixing your shirt a lot today. Okay, what about dessert? Is that your idea of a treat, having dessert? Or is it what you eat in between meals? Or is a treat something I deserve this because I worked out really hard today, because I cleaned the garage?
Weigh a couple less pounds in the morning.
Yeah. That's a good one. I weighed a little less today, so I deserve to have a treat. That's a good
And
one.
then tomorrow you're back up.
Then you're back up. That is true. And these are little chocolate things. So these are actually little chocolate squares with little ghosts on them, which I thought were super cute. Okay. So we wanted to talk about your snacks or your treats. Are they tricks or treats? Because a lot of snacks are junk food in disguise. I can't tell you how many people say, oh, no, I don't eat potato chips. I eat veggie chips. And
Those
veggie
are just
chips,
as bad.
they are just as bad. Yes, they have about the same amount of fat. They are vegetables cut very thinly that are fried just like potato chips. But people think because they're eating vegetables, they're doing okay. I was thinking of some other things that were granola is another kind of tricky one because it sounds so darn healthy, but usually there's a lot of fat added. I've recently found a recipe. I've been making some granola and it's called for almond butter or peanut butter. So that was the fat that was added, and not very much. So I kind of like that. We also get tricked on some of our little snacks by they're not really single serving. So you're on a long drive and you run into the AM PM to get a little snack and you grab some pretzels because you know those are, no fat and they're pretty healthy, and you eat that bag, but that bag was really 3 servings. But you thought it was a pretty good amount. But we got to be careful about the serving sizes of single servings. What we think is a single serving isn't necessarily true.
So if you eat an ounce of potato chips,
Uh-huh.
is it really that bad?
So Rose asking if you eat an ounce of potato chips, is that bad? Well, no, but that's high in salt. It's probably 9 grams of fat, probably 160 calories of something that's giving you no nutrition whatsoever.
Hmm.
So no, it's not that bad.
What about the little bags of almonds that are always hanging there?
Okay.
$1.50 or something.
Well, it's nice to get those without the salt or without
I know.
the other stuff on them. She's asking about the nuts, but if they're little ounce bags, that's good. But I'll tell you what, sometimes I've accidentally grabbed when I've gone into AM/PM for a road trip is a bag of nuts, but it's really 3, 4, 5 servings. So you just have to be careful about the portion size. We never want to eat out of a big bag or a big box. And a lot of our regular snacks are super processed stuff. So on a whole food plant-based diet, or even just a whole food diet where we're trying to make more plant choices, we want to really get rid of the processed stuff. So even pretzels are processed white flour with salt stuck all over them. And we should think of our snacks as a mini meal. And we normally wouldn't have a meal of Cheetos, yet that might be what we would have as a snack. So we should be looking at the plate. We need fruits and vegetables and whole grains and beans or lean protein. And so we should say, what do I need today if I'm going to have a snack? But before we even go there, why am I having a snack? Hunger? Very appropriate. It's going to be a long time to my next meal. Very appropriate.
But lots of a thing like with diabetics, they recommend that you have a snack. I never have snacks.
No, back in the day, she's mentioning that with diabetes, a lot of times they tell you to have snacks,
Yeah.
and that's how we used to do it. And I think that was maybe based on the type of insulin we had back then. It wasn't like we have now. And if you didn't eat at a certain time, you would go too low. And so they started saying you got to have these snacks. But now, unless you're hungry, if you have diabetes or you're on a medication that's going to cause you to drop, you don't really need to have a snack unless you want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. We really have gotten away from telling people to have snacks.
Oh, they do it. They aren't anymore.
Yeah. I mean, if you're hungry and you want a snack, great, but you don't have to. Yeah. So we just want to try to make our snacks healthy snacks if we're going to have them, or treats. So let's get into sweet treats. So Linda said that treat to her is sugar. It is to me too, is I like sweet treats if I'm going to have a treat. So we should just be careful about having too much sugary stuff, because the more you have, the more you want. It's a trigger and a quick habit to form by having these things. So only have small amounts when you're having the sugars. Hello. Choose whole plant-based foods when you can, and sweeteners like dates. So today in those balls, did they make those other balls? They're there. Oh, okay, good. Thanks. I think those had dates and nuts in them and some dried fruit. We can make fruit a sweet treat. That's what we want to do, I think, is try to make fruit our sweet treat. Now, that doesn't mean you can never have chocolate or anything. That's fine, but
Chocolate's a whole different story.
it is. It's medicinal, really. I know.
Even Dr. The one who cures the heart.
Barnard,
No.
Esselstyn,
No,
Gregor.
no, the guy who had you on 10% fat.
Furman,
No,
Ornish,
from San Francisco.
Ornish,
Ornish.
Ornish.
Yeah,
He lets
says
you have
he
chocolate.
has a piece of chocolate every day.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. But we can't fool ourselves, because that's a definite trick that, oh, chocolate's so good for me. It's not.
He eats it.
What?
That's he.
Yes, it's it. Well, see, that's a trick. You're right. But it's okay to have it. What?
I'm like the January 10th on my chocolate.
Oh,
Eating forward, just in case.
you're eating ahead. So I guess, and it's okay to have that stuff now and then, or if you have a little bit, like you have your Dove chocolate every day, that's cool. But we want to try not to have a habit of always needing a sweet treat. And if we do, we should try to make
Oh,
it
I
fruit.
eat salty treats.
Well, you're equal opportunity,
Yeah.
because really the less sweet you have, the less you want. I mean, have you ever been away from your normal stuff? Like I was in the hospital for a week and I could care less about sweets when I came out. Also salt, everything tasted super salty. But I got over that very quickly, but I wish I hadn't because I didn't care about it anymore. So the less you have, the less you want, and maybe form things. So today our snacks were moderately healthy. So we had apples with that apple butter, which is a sweet treat for me. We had this pumpkin hummus that I got at Trader Joe's, which is, there must be beans in it. I'm not sure, but I think there's pumpkin in it too, and cinnamon and a little sugar. And our little balls, which are made from dates and dried fruit and nuts, those are sweet treats, but they have nutritional value. I guess that's what we want to try to do too, is try to see what nutritional value. And then there's little healthy tricks you can do to make healthy treats. So we've tried this. I know I made the black bean brownies ones and they didn't come out that great, but they generally are very good. That was my mistake. But we could use fat substitutes in certain things. You're making muffins and you could use applesauce instead of the oil. In fact, when I was at Trader Joe's yesterday, as you mentioned, it's all pumpkin all the time there right now. And I normally don't like to do this because I like to make it from scratch, but I got their pumpkin bread mix. And so all you need to do is add eggs and oil. So when I do make that,
I have it at home.
I'm going to use applesauce instead of the oil, and I'm going to make a flax egg instead of the eggs. And so that's just going to take away, I'm healthying it up a little bit. We could add fruits and veggies to whatever we do whenever we can in our snacks, and substitute higher fiber options. So I'm trying to think of a snack that would have whole wheat in it. Like
Apple cake.
an apple cake, we could use whole wheat bread.
Well, I've done it just with the wheat.
Okay.
In fact, that's what we're eating right now.
Ah, okay.
4 pounds of apples, but it's 2 cups of whole wheat and
Okay, so John made a whole wheat apple cake. So that's good. And even today in our balls, some of them might have had oats in them. I think they might have.
milk.
So oats and millet sounds good. So try some higher fiber things. Be tricky. And here, fruit is nature's candy. I know. And really, doesn't a beautiful peach? I mean, it's not that cupcake, I know, but it does look beautiful.
It's the plastic
Oh.
with the cup.
So I should have done calories on this, but this is looking at carbs. So 15 grams of carb, which is generally a serving of carbohydrate in a piece of fruit, but 45, so 3 times that in our cupcake. And we want to break up with empty calorie foods. Those veggie straws. And our chips and our sweets and drinks. We want to kind of limit our drinks that have calories, and alcohol. We got to limit that. So these are things that give us calories and they have no nutritional value. And so, and those veggie straws totally trick us into thinking we're eating something good. So we want to try to break up with those things and have whole real foods, whatever those are, for our snacks. So some treat ideas. We did some of these today. Tell me what your favorite healthy snack is. Fruit? Good. Hummus? Okay.
I've tried different hummuses with black-eyed peas.
Yes.
You know.
With different
peas.
beans?
Yeah.
Okay, so hummus with different beans or different flavors in them. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
How was that hummus today?
that was good. Need salt.
Yeah, I didn't really even taste it. I just whipped it up. I like that recipe. It's from High Carb Hannah, who I like, and she makes a no oil hummus.
Yeah, well, I
need to-
make the one with no oil, and John did too. We use the one in moosewood.
And moosewood. Okay, that's a good one. No oil.
But I leave the spinach and the green stuff out.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
This is the non-fat.
And what do they put spinach and what else?
I don't know. I switched to the non-fat vegan hummus. Because that has fewer ingredients.
Do you make it or you buy it?
And make it.
Okay, somebody had told
Let
me,
people cook them. It's
Well,
so awful.
I tried to make it too, but I was at Trader Joe's yesterday and I had heard, I thought from somebody here that Trader Joe's had a hummus that was really low fat, but I could not find one. So I ended up just going back to making my own.
Well, I think, that's also, and some of those people try making it without the tahini. Well, what is hummus without the tahini?
It's just, oh yeah, hummus without tahini is just ground up garbanzo beans, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the tahini too.
How much you made today?
It had tahini in it. And it used the aquafaba, the liquid from the garbanzo bean can.
Mm.
So healthy treat ideas. So the veggies in the hummus, we did sliced apples in the peanut, we could do peanut butter or pumpkin butter. If you're gonna do peanut butter though, dish it out first. Don't do one knife full of peanut butter and smear it on your apple. We just gotta portion out things. Or the dehydrated, yeah, and I think they might have made something with that today. That's a good idea, the dehydrated. Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
it's defatted and powdered peanut butter. So they took the fat out and you mix it. So it's a powder, you mix water with it and it turns into a peanut butter like paste.
Wow.
Well, it gives you a peanut butter flavor without the added fat. So in certain things, it's really awesome. I don't think I would make peanut butter and make a sandwich out of it, but in recipes, it can be pretty good, I think. So we can use fruit or veggies. Just remember, have them ready to go. If we're gonna have nuts, we just want to do a moderate amount because it's easy to overdo the nuts. Or we get those big Costco jars of nuts, and if you're eating out of the jar, oh my goodness, we can get 1,000 calories in a night. My personal favorite snack these days, my signal that the kitchen is closed is, and I learned it from somebody here, is I have one date and I put a Brazil nut in there and then I eat that. Some people like peanut butter stuffed in their day or open it up and have peanut butter. I forgot, really going back to the basics, ants on a log, you have celery with your peanut butter and some little raisins on it. Dried apricots is another one that I like, or dried fruit. You count them out, you have your signal of how much you have. Nice cream is an awesome one. In fact, I feel like nice cream is you take frozen bananas and you blend them up and they form kind of like an ice cream. You add strawberries to it, or you add your cocoa powder or your powdered peanut butter or straight peanut butter, and it gives it a flavor to kind of take away the banana. But oh, you might not like it then, because there is a bit of a banana flavor.
Cannot stand.
Oh, you might not like that then, but I feel like that's another little trick that we fall for. They have all these plant-based ice creams now, which are awesome. You know, Ben and Jerry's makes them. I like the Planet Oat and all those. Those are good, but they're still pretty darn high in fat and sugar and calories. Whereas our ice cream is just blended up fruit. Yes.
My favorite treat now that we make is chia pudding.
You know, I've never done
It
that.
is so amazing.
Chia
I
pudding,
didn't
you guys.
know about this before. Chia seeds, you know, when you put liquid, they fatten up. and
Right.
kind of become gelatinous. So you can mix it with anything. So you mix it with liquid of any kind.
Okay.
And then anything else like fresh fruit that's pureed or cocoa powder. I can make chocolate pudding and you just refrigerate it for a few hours and then it's the texture of pudding, but it doesn't have any of the bad added sugar and you have control completely of what it's working with. And it's thick and it's stuff high in fiber.
That is a good idea. So she's talking about the chia puddings, and I'm afraid I've never tried it, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because the word gelatinous turns me off. Okay, that sounds better. Okay.
And I got to share, I don't like, even like I cut stuff up, you know, you're starving.
Right.
My favorite snack now to have with hummus is the sugar snap peas. You
Yes.
buy them in the bag, they're already clean, they're crunchy.
Perfect.
High in fiber, and then you just rip open the bag and you dig into the hummus.
That is great. She's suggesting sugar snap peas also as a hummus dipper. So that's a great idea. Thanks for sharing that.
And the chia thing.
Oh, that's everywhere.
I see the recipes everywhere.
I will.
Yeah,
It's
that would be
everywhere.
great.
I'm glad gladly make it because it's, in fact, it's good because it's so delicious. I eat too much of it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so honestly, now it's sort of one of those buzzword things. You just, Google chia pudding.
Right.
20 things have come up immediately that.
Huh.
Mhm.
or
Yeah,
more.
I'm gonna try it now because you told me. CHIAI. IA.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for sharing
Yeah, I
that.
have some in my refrigerator, but I don't really do anything with.
They just
Yeah.
buzz them into a fine powder, but because they do, that little round shell still sits.
Absolutely
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Well, they're an egg substitute too, aren't they?
They
Yes.
can be you can make an egg substitute out of the chias. We do want to blend them up. That's something I just recently learned because I never blended them before
Yeah.
to make them into a
Well, the
powder.
aquafaba is not very good with that too, because it already has from the liquid from the garbanzo.
Uh-huh.
It's often used in chia pudding because it gives it thickening, agents. It's like adding the liquid or cream or whatever, but you get.
Super fun.
It's good
Okay.
For you and doesn't have calories.
Okay. So she's saying also she uses aquafaba in her chia pudding, which now I understand is not gelatinous. It is creamy and tasty. So I'm going to try that. I'll try it before next time. Okay. So what are we doing? What are our tricks for handling things during Halloween and now what is now the holiday eating season? It starts so early now. I mean, it used to say Halloween was the start of it, but now Halloween stuff's been in the store since mid-September.
Before Walgreens started on the 1st of
Really?
September.
It's crazy how early all these seasons start. It is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Christmas stuff is out. In fact, I went to Target yesterday to get a few things and couldn't find any Halloween stuff because now it's all Christmas stuff. But okay, one thing, Halloween, don't buy candy you like. No Reese's peanut butter cups or whatever it is you like. There's all the, no Snickers bars. No, I always buy those yucky runts and all that stuff the kids like that I can't stand. And I don't buy it until the day of. And then I give it all away. That last kid who I think is going to come to my door, it's dark, nobody else, take it all. I don't want it. You could give something besides candy. I put gum, but I like the wasabi peas idea. And little packets, gum. I mean, you don't want to really always be that house, but I don't know.
Debbie,
Yes.
I give out pencils.
Oh,
I
Good.
have been giving out pencils for years, and I ask the kids, "Do you like pencils?" And they always say yes.
they do?
Yes.
You are so brave. Okay, I should try that. That's
I-
good.
I-
They
I
get so
get
much.
pretty pencils. I get sparkly pencils.
Yeah.
And, and I've been doing it for years.
Thank you for that idea. Okay, pencils.
Sure.
What? Hershey bars. Well, I live on a hill. I live down in the bottom in the cheap seats, and up at the top, they give whole candy bars up there.
Oh. I'm amazed at the big 1-pounders.
Not the king size, but they're whole candy bars. I know it's crazy how much people must spend.
How do you find that out?
The kids told me. I said, "Where'd you get that?" They said, "Oh, off the street. Up by the rich people." If you're going to get-togethers, you're going to potlucks, you're having neighbors over, or doing things, bring a dish that you can eat. And then also you're sharing, good, healthy stuff and showing people how healthy stuff can taste good. And decide in advance what you're going to enjoy as a treat. So yeah, I'm going to go to that. And so I am going to have that, pumpkin pie or whatever it is. Decide what you're going to have and enjoy it and have it. But make a plan and stick to it and watch your portions of things that maybe we shouldn't have so much of. And I always say this, but it never seems to be true, but we should focus on people, not the food. But the holidays have become so much about the food, which is evident in the stores and the magazines and the ads and everything, but we should be focusing on people. And remember your why. I think that's important going into the holiday season, because it's easy to say, "Oh, forget it. It's the holidays. I'm going to do whatever I want." But why are you here? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it to get off meds? Is it to take care of your diabetes or not get diabetes? Is it not to have another heart attack or to have a heart attack, period? Remember when you make your choices, remember what your why is, because maybe those things that are tricking us aren't going to help us with our why. So just always remember your why. Keep that on the forefront. Why? And so that's it. No, don't be tricked and enjoy your treats, your healthy treats. So thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So who liked the pumpkin hummus?
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Yes,
I don't think I tried it. I'll have to go back. and
it's
try.
good. Okay. Sorry, you guys, you didn't get the pumpkin hummus. Is it?